Namaste friends, welcome back to Bharath Nivesh with Mithun. Today, we are discussing one of the biggest stories in the Indian banking sector, HDFC Bank, India's largest private sector bank, a stock that almost every mutual fund owns. A company trusted by millions of investors has suddenly come under the spotlight after reports that three US based law firms have launched investigations into possible violations of US federal securities laws. As soon as this news came out, HDFC Bank shares witnessed selling pressure, and investors started asking one simple question: should we panic? Is this just another short term market reaction, or is this something much bigger? In today's video, I will explain why these investigations have started, what exactly the allegations are, why US law firms are involved in an Indian bank, what HDFC Bank has said, what could happen next, and finally, what should long-term investors do. So watch this video till the end. First, let's understand what exactly happened. Recently, several US shareholder law firms announced that they are investigating HDFC Bank regarding possible violations of US federal securities laws. Now immediately, many investors became confused. They asked, why would US law firms investigate an Indian bank? The answer is actually very simple. HDFC Bank's American Depository Receipts, also called ADRs, are listed in the United States. Whenever a company raises money or as securities traded in the US, investors there are protected by US securities laws. If investors believe that material information was hidden or disclosures were misleading, law firms sometimes announce investigations to determine whether affected investors may have legal claims. These announcements do not mean the company has been found guilty. This is exactly what is happening here. So let's understand what are the allegations. So what triggered these investigations? The investigations follow earlier media reports alleging that approximately 45 crore rupees in payments linked to the Maharashtra State Road Development Corporation or MSRDC were recorded as marketing expenses rather than being described differently in the bank's books. These reports have raised questions about accounting treatment, corporate governance, and disclosures. The US law firms say they are examining whether investors received all material information required under US securities laws. At this stage, these are allegations and matters under investigation. They have not been proven in court. What has HDFC Bank said? Now, this is very important. HDFC Bank has denied wrongdoing regarding these allegations and has rejected claims made in earlier reports. So today, we have two sides. One side is the allegations that prompted the investigations, the other side is the bank's denial. The investigations are meant to determine whether there is sufficient evidence for any legal action. As of now, no court has ruled that HDFC Bank violated US securities laws. Why did the share price fall? Markets hate uncertainty. Whenever there is uncertainty regarding governance, accounting, legal issues, or regulatory matters, investors usually become cautious. Institutional investors reduce exposure, foreign investors wait for clarity, retail investors panic. Because of this uncertainty, HDFC Bank shares came under pressure after news of the investigations became public. Does this mean HDFC Bank is guilty? Absolutely not. This is probably the biggest misunderstanding. An investigation is not the same as lawsuit. A lawsuit is not the same as a court judgment. And even a court case does not automatically mean guilt. These law firms are currently gathering information to determine whether legal claims should proceed. So investors should avoid jumping to conclusions based only on headlines. Why do US law firms do this? Many investors wonder, why do these investigations happen so quickly? Whenever a listed company's share price drops sharply after allegations or adverse news, US shareholder law firms often announce investigations. Their objective is to determine whether investors who purchased the stock suffered losses because of potentially misleading statements or omissions. If they believe there is sufficient evidence, they may later seek to file or support shareholder litigation. This process is relatively common in US securities markets and does not automatically indicate that the company has violated the law. What should HDFC investors do? So, the most important question, should investors sell? Should they buy more? Or should they simply wait? If you are a trader, expect volatility. News driven stocks can move sharply. If you are a long term investor, don't make decisions based only on one headline. Instead, ask yourself, has the business fundamentally changed? Is profitability affected? Is capital adequacy impacted? Will regulators impose penalties? Has management responded transparently? Those are the questions that matter far more than a single day's price movement. If we look at the possible outcomes, several scenarios are possible. The first scenario is the investigations may conclude without any legal action if no evidence of securities law violations is found. The second scenario, the investigations could develop into shareholder lawsuits seeking compensation. The third scenario, regulators could seek additional information if warranted. The fourth scenario, the matter could eventually be resolved through legal proceedings or settlements depending on future developments. At this stage, it is too early to predict which outcome will occur. My personal approach as an investor is simple. I avoid reacting emotionally to breaking news. Instead, I wait for verified information. Corporate governance is extremely important. If any company, large or small, is found to have violated regulations, investors should take that seriously. But until investigations are complete, it is equally important not to assume guilt based only on allegations. Patience and facts should guide investment decisions. So, friends, what do you think? Is this simply short term panic or could this become a bigger issue for HDFC Bank? Share your opinion in the comment section. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button, subscribe to Bharath Nivesh with Mithun, and press the bell icon so you never miss any updates on the Indian stock market. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Jai Hind.